What's our president doing? Is he insane?
So what would President Trump's plan be in this situation, Mr. Trump?
Well, what I'm talking about is, the migration, and we're taking in thousands of people, and we're bringing them in, and we have no idea who they are. And as you probably heard, you probably reported it knowing the three of you before anybody else, so you know better than anybody. But already they're missing one. One person's gone. They don't know what happened to the person. And you look at that migration, and I pointed this out a couple of weeks ago when I first saw it. They're like, it's so many men, so many strong young men. I'm saying, where are the women? Where are the children? I mean, there's so many. So we're taking people in, and we don't know where these people come from. We don't know who they are, where they are. There's no papers, no
They're
anything.
like the rebels who we are arming.
Do you agree that we should have a safe zone set up for them?
I like that. Because, look, on a humanitarian basis, the whole thing is terrible. But they should have a safe zone in Syria, and we should help with the safe zone. And we should get the Gulf states who are not doing anything, and they're tremendously wealthy. They're not taking in people. They're too smart. I like that. Because, look, on a humanitarian basis, the whole thing is terrible. But they should have a safe zone in Syria, and we should help with the safe zone. And we should get the Gulf states who are not doing anything, and they're tremendously wealthy. They're not taking in people. They're too smart. They're saying, we don't want anybody. And what Merkel has done to Germany is unbelievable. I mean, she's going to go down. She was really I thought she was a terrific leader. She's turning out to be a horrible leader. What she's doing to Germany in one fell swoop, you see what's going on over there. What we should have is a beautiful, safe zone, and then ultimately someday they'll be able to go back to where they want to be in Syria. But keep everybody in Syria. This is crazy what's going on. But we cannot have them in the United States.
The Secretary of State just said the same thing.
The Secretary of State, John Kerry, said this yesterday because he was sent over in a surprise visit to Hollande. He indicated, well, this is impossible to figure out why these attacks took place. The Charlie Hebdo attacks, however, make kind of sense. They were particularly focused and perhaps have a legitimacy to them. What's your reaction to our Secretary of State saying the Hebdo attacks had a legitimacy to them?
Well, look, anybody that made the deal with Iran, which is perhaps the worst transaction of any kind that I've ever seen, one of the dumbest, with $150 billion going to Iran and self-policing and everything else, and we don't get our prisoners back. Anybody that made that deal can say anything because that person, doesn't make any difference what they say.
But they do. The Secretary of State's in an important position. Earlier, Elizabeth, we had a chance to talk to Josh Earnest. Elizabeth and Josh Earnest got into it over the president's use of words. I just want to play it for you and get your impression.
Okay.
To call this just a setback seems awful, at least to the American people.
Well, Elizabeth, I think what I'd ask the American people to do is to go look at the transcript of the president's remarks, where he described the situation as sickening, where he expressed his profound sorrow at what exactly had occurred. And I think what I would encourage you to do is to spend just as much time focusing on the president's actions as you do his words.
His words matter, Josh. I have to stop you there. Josh, I will stop you there. The president of the United States words matter. Let me finish my answer.
If you want to have me on your show, Elizabeth.
I will focus on my president's words,
Josh. To talk about a serious issue, then give me an opportunity to answer the question.
I would love for you to answer it, but
I'll answer the question by telling you that you should consider. Elizabeth, if you want to have me on the show to talk about something serious with our national security, you can ask me a question and I will answer it.
Josh, we've played fair before. I'm letting you know that our president's words matter not just to me, not just to the American people, but to those around the globe who are very concerned right now.
Words are important.
That was something. He didn't do good opposition research on Elizabeth, because if he would have seen the real Elizabeth, I watched her take